Here we are at the fourth episode of the Artist Podcast. Today we have artist, director and curator Connor Clements coming on to talk about the work he's making and his online gallery that he's running. The day before we recorded the podcast was the day Boris Johnson released his new laws on the lockdown of the UK. So we start off talking about that, but we quickly move on to the subject at hand. And we talk about art, and it's a good conversation. I hope you enjoy. So here it is, and I present episode 4 of the Artist Podcast. The second worst in the world, aren't we, after America, after the USA?
After America, yeah.
That's shocking, that.
Well, in terms of recorded stuff,
Yeah.
Chinese government's not the most trustworthy source for that kind of thing.
I did think that at the start.
Sky News have got like a graph showing how many deaths there is normally commonly in like this time of year, and say like the graph goes to like 100. It's normally around 3, but currently Corona's put it up to like 20. But then there's like another 20 on top of that are unaccounted for, type of thing. So they reckon the coronavirus deaths might be like twice as much as they are.
Yeah. Right. The Chinese one at the start, I really thought they were lying about their numbers, and they probably were, but
Are we getting a conspiracy theory already?
Yeah,
Like,
I've had half a pint, and I'm going to start talking about it. The Chinese lied.
they join the call, you're like, so what do you think of this Boris Johnson thing? Then? Right.
Yeah.
Just warming up the conversations. I didn't script any questions this time. We thought we'd go free form, see how the conversation flows. It should be simple enough. I was on your virtual gallery earlier. Do you want to give a rundown of what that is exactly?
It's essentially just a website that hosts a constantly growing 3D modelled gallery that people can submit work to.
Yeah.
Mainly limited to digital work, but you can scan in like physical stuff as well to have submitted. And yeah, just a series of like gallery spaces just constantly adding on to one another to form this kind of spatial timeline of the whole project itself.
Yeah, and you can see that all on your website, can't you?
Yeah, and I've got like the whole axonometric map that shows like every time I add a space on, it's all visible on there as like one sort of linear route.
Yeah, I found it really interesting. I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself in for at first. For the listeners, it is you literally go into a 3D gallery. I couldn't work out at first if it was photography or 3D render.
It's all 3D rendered, yeah.
That's amazing, that, mate. Is it you who's worked on that?
Yeah, it's all me doing like 3D modeling and rendering and stuff.
It's absolutely insane. I couldn't. I really I was like scrolling in looking for pixels.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. It looks like a real space. It genuinely does. It's great.
It's a lot of fun to make, really, because it's all the good parts about like studying architecture at uni, and now I don't have to like have all the grunt work to back it up. You can just have a bit of fun with it and work with artists and find out what they want out of a space.
I was really impressed by the room where you went in. I don't know which artist's work is it, but it's the floor's water and it's got the metal grids going across it. I was like, this is mad.
Was that Moore and Seb, the joint photography show?
Was it? How does that come along? How do you find like an artist to go on the show? Do they sort of send you the work they're working on and then you decide the room, or do they come up with a room idea with you as well?
It's a bit of a mixture, really. Like for the first exhibition, it was a mixture of I contacted people I knew their work would fit the theme of that exhibition.
Right.
But I also I announced the project like a couple of weeks before, so a lot of people also got in touch and said, can I exhibit something? And even if I couldn't fit them into that one, I've been working them into the future shows. And then once I've sort of found a way to say link two artists together, like those conversation things, or decided, this person they've got enough there visually to warrant a solo show.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of back and forth on what they want out of the space.
Right. Yeah.
The depth someone's got was that Kinetic Blue, who did the architectural Axos, they actually sent me through like a plan and section of what they wanted the room to be, but then there was still a bit of back and forth there because I kind of built that and we both agreed like this is too small, so I added on like the two extra rooms on either side of it.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to create each section of the exhibition? Is it like a long drawn out process, or is it?
Not really, no. I mean, there's like maybe half an hour like sketching stuff out and like messaging people to find out what they want in it, and then you just kind of work it out as you're modeling it. Really, like in terms of the software and that, I'm pretty familiar with it all now because I did used it all at uni, and then I had like this 3-month internship thing at a visualization company, like an architectural visualization company. So I figured out like the software side of things out
It's definitely
pretty quickly. I could just figure out as I go along.
It's definitely something very interesting because it's obviously not a background in art that you specifically came from. Architecture is like art, but it's not the fine art sort of basis. And you've sort of reappropriated your tools and your abilities to something that's like completely different to where you would have thought an architecture student would have went down. It definitely helps. It's allowed something quite original. So do you want to talk about how DoveTail Joints came to be? And
that'd been a while ago now. That'll be 2015, 2016. I started that up with Bobby Benjamin.
He's the one who we interviewed Steve, didn't we? And
I was interviewed two of his business partners. business partner. So yeah, we were operating out of a little space above Club Bongo for about just under a year, maybe.
Yeah.
It's putting on like small scale shows and stuff. And then I left for uni, so my end of the contributions kind of slowed down really because I was up in Newcastle.
Right.
I went up to Newcastle with the intent of like, oh yeah, I'll go up there, I'll put some exhibitions on under the name, but I didn't really know a lot really to go out and do it on my own, never mind in Newcastle where it's already a really big established.
It's hard to push yourself in a new environment when you don't really know that many people.
Yeah, definitely. So we had a few bits and we had quite a few bits and bobs, yeah. And whenever I was back, I'd help out putting a show on and that. Then Bobby started Pineapple Black with Steve. When would that have been?
It's February, isn't it?
February 2018.
February 2018.
Yeah.
So that's been going a while now.
So he was doing that, and
Bobby was with DoveTail Joints for 3 years before he went on to Pineapple Black, and then you sort of took over the entire DoveTail Joints project on your own.
Yeah, as of November, that's when he first messaged me to say like, I'm going to be focusing on Pineapple. Do you want to carry this on, or do you want to do your own thing, or what do we do with this? And I was perfectly happy to like take it on my own, really, because
I'd agree.
I feel like I'd learned enough by that point just from working with him,
That's good. It's always better to have an established name as well. So
the audience was just built in already, which is
good. I remember I think I went to the first DoveTail Joints show. It was like a mixture of work and like spoken poetry and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure it was because it was downstairs in the bongo. They had people performing on stage. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that might have been then. It was like Felix the Gallery 1?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I had a room upstairs in that one, the white room with the wooden bits on the wall and the floor and that.
All right. So what were you showing at the time? What work were you working on back then?
Sculptural installation sort of stuff.
So a lot different at like the work you do. Are you still doing that now? Did you say? Sorry.
Yeah. I had like a sculptural installation. Oh yeah, it was a sculptural installation floor piece in that Pick a Mix show.
All right. Yeah, I did the poster design for that one.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm useful as well.
How did you get to go into architecture though at university?
It was that I did the Art and Design Foundation at CCAD in Borough.
Oh, okay, cool, man.
Yeah, and I went there thinking like, oh, I want to do graphic design. I'll just go there and get a decent bit of experience because I did crap at a level. I got like a D in graphic design, so I was like, all right, I'll spruce up a bit here. And then that was all about the time I was like working at House of Blah Blah and getting into like the fine art side of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, one day it was Lynn, the textiles teacher, just sort of went like, have you thought about doing architecture? Just like from looking over my precedent folders and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I have now.
It's probably the thing you want to hear because architecture is quite like an appetizing title, isn't it? It's something that
Yeah.
people want to go into. It's quite a romanticized sort of subject.
Oh, definitely. But it's a long time before you can actually
Do
call
it.
yourself an architect.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
so many legal like red tape when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like if you're not accredited and you call yourself an architect, like and you practice calling yourself an architect, like you can face jail time. People have faced jail time.
Really. I guess there's a lot of liability because it's structural and all that sort of stuff.
Building.
Exactly.
It's a lot to do with mathematics as well and stuff like that, isn't it? It's a very gate kept sort of.
I mean, yeah, but truth be told, I did maths AS level and I got a U in that, so
Yeah.
depends on the uni and the portfolio, really.
Did you go to Teesside in the end or
No, Northumbria, they don't.
Northumbria? Sorry, yeah, you talked about being
Yeah,
in
don't do
Newcastle.
it in
Sorry,
Teesside. I
what
think
a
that's why
surprise.
it's like been sort of something new to the table with the gallery thing, because like there's not many other people in. There's not a big sort of subculture for architecture in Teesside because you can't study
You
it.
can't study it here,
Yeah,
no.
you need to move away.
Whereas with like a subject like art, you'll find people coming from different locations to come do art here. You wouldn't find that with architecture, no, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
There's obviously a lot of 3D work down here because our Teesside University is really highly ranked with like games design and all that sort of stuff, which I imagine uses quite a lot of the same tools as like the Blender and all them sort of 3ds Max is it as well? Is that
Yeah.
one of them?
Yeah.
So I imagine there's people here who are capable of building spaces digitally, but I don't think they'd have the
People won't
same eye.
utilize it though.
Yeah, they wouldn't have the same eyes as an architect, would they?
Yeah, and they wouldn't have the same like intent really. If you're gonna be like, I mean, you won't have a lot of crossover with like the fine art scene and stuff like that, and then like
Definitely not. No.
people who do video game design, people do video game design because they want to design video games.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. um,
Yeah.
Do you think online exhibitions is the next logical step for art generally?
I think it's something that needs to grow, just out of necessity, and then once we can go back and do like real life exhibitions again, I think that's going to add a new dimension to that, bringing it back, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A new perspective on it when we go back to it. It's going to change things. Like, I am hoping once lockdown's over, and I mean things are not going to go in business as usual, but when we can actually put on proper exhibitions again, like it would be good to have some kind of retrospective or something, like bring the virtual gallery back into the real world again.
yeah.
I think that'd be interesting.
Which do you prefer, hosting the online or the real world?
I mean, the online ones are a lot less stress. I'll give it that.
Yeah, no,
I imagine so.
The amount of time you spent like doing. I mean, I've only done one exhibition with DoveTail like since Bobby left. I did that one at Disgraceland.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah.
I was in there like 5 solid days leading up to it, like getting all the work together and hanging it and curating and
People don't
recurating.
realise the work that goes into trying to host an exhibition.
Oh, I've only
Yeah.
done one, and it was shocking. I hated it. I hated doing it.
Was that your degree show?
It was the one we did in the Cleveland Centre. The degree show was all right because
Oh.
you got like the years below you to do the painting of the walls and
Yeah.
that, so you didn't really have to do anything. But when we had to do our own in second year, I honestly the preparation that goes into it's absolutely mental. So I can't imagine what it's like if you're the sort of the person who runs the operation and you have to curate the whole show. I imagine it's like hell on earth.
And I was lucky really that a lot of the people who were exhibiting, like they were popping in throughout the week and dropping the work off and then helping me hang it and da 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 da.
Do you have a lot of input in the curation of the show, or were you?
Oh yeah, it was pretty much like all me sort of curating it and that, but it would always be like I'd curate it and then run it by them to make sure they're happy with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, of course.
But they'd be there to help hang it and everything. That's the
Yeah.
thing with like the little spaces like Disgraceland and when we were at the Bongo, it's the walls. The walls in there, they're so.
And the lighting, they're not made for art.
Yeah, the lighting's not amazing, but like you'll have like some solid brick wall and some like sort of plasterboard wall and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like the brick walls are a nightmare to get into, but you can hang heavy stuff, and then the plasterboard stuff, like you can get into it easy, but shit will just fall off.
Right, yeah. No, of course.
So it's stressful.
Obviously, when you're reappropriating like a space into an art space that wasn't previously one, it's not going to be set up in the same way as a massive institution like the Middlesbrough Institute of Mima, whatever that's proper name is. That's obviously built for art, but if you reappropriate a building into an art gallery, it's gonna come with its troubles, isn't it? But sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. Because when Steve was on the show, he was talking about how the lighting in there turned out to be like perfect for an art gallery, which is it's just like the luck of the draw, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, it's lucky that the conditions to sell stuff and the conditions to artwork.
Yeah, crossover.
Same, really.
Yeah. I haven't been to any of the latest DoveTail Joint gallery shows. So the last one was in Disgraceland, as you mentioned.
That was end of January.
What was the name of that one?
That was Prism.
Right. Okay. What?
All analog photography.
It was with Wadge, wasn't it?
Sorry.
Did you help host that with Wadge, or did you host it? Because I remember talking to. Is it Wadge? What's his actual name?
Luke
John. John Iverson.
John Iverson. What is his name?
He was down a lot helping me like set up and everything because he had some work in it, and he helped a lot with printing as well actually. Because I was gonna be printing my stuff at Dundas Arcade, and it would have been like a tenner for an A3 print on some nice paper, but he was like, "Oh no, yeah, just do it at the uni."
It's like £2 or something crazy. Yeah,
so much cheaper. Yeah.
In Repo graphics.
Yeah.
So you went to university in Northumbria. Would you think? Did you live in Middlesbrough before you went there?
Yeah.
Do you think there's something to learn from going to a university in a different town than there is at staying at home? Do you think it's a different experience?
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely, it gets you out your comfort zone, really.
Yeah, because obviously,
Sorry.
So I ended up doing art at like Middlesbrough, where I was born. So I've only ever been sort of involved in the art world inside of Middlesbrough. So I've never been able to experience different art worlds and make like. I imagine that the art world in a city like Newcastle is much bigger than it is over here, where here we're sort of developing at the moment.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like with it being so much bigger in Newcastle and so much more established, it felt a bit more like harder to get into, really. Whereas here, you show up to like 3 exhibitions, and you know a load of people, and you're right in there.
It's a very welcoming town, isn't it?
Mm.
I feel like it's safer to do a show in Middlesbrough than it is anywhere else. Like I live in Leeds at the moment, and I've had a couple of shows in Leeds, and I've struggled to maintain an audience type of thing. And I always feel like doing a show in Middlesbrough just because I know people there, and they'll bring friends, and I'm guaranteed to have at least people I know that come. So I always feel easier doing a show in Middlesbrough than I do anywhere else.
Because not competing for people's attention as much.
Yeah, you don't have to. You're not competing with other people's time.
I think there's a general high interest in art in Middlesbrough as well, especially for such an obscure town. I reckon there's a big art scene.
It's definitely growing, with like the influx of like different artists coming from like all over the country to work and show in Middlesbrough. I mean, the Weekender, if anything's gonna push that.
Yeah, it's definitely boosting the profile of our town.
Yeah,
it's good. Did you do any work with the Weekender, Connor?
No, I think when we were still above the Bongo, I think we had a show on like during the Weekender, but for some reason we weren't like officially part of the Weekender.
What
I
you
don't know
weren't on the
what
you
was
weren't on
really.
right? You weren't on the trail on the weird map that they do.
Yeah, I don't think we were really.
Was that the first one?
I think so. Yeah, I think it might have been when we had like Phil Gatenby and that in there, or maybe it was the Anna O'Donnell one.
All right, Phil
Not
Phil
100% sure
Gately
now.
used to be the head of fine art when we first joined. Well, when I first
Yeah,
joined, anyways. Yeah, he
yeah, I think
did.
that was the big one for Bobby that because I think he taught him as well, so it was like they already had a really good relationship going on, kind of thing.
Right, yeah, yeah. I remember Phil Gately was at the first House of Blah Blah exhibition when that first opened. Because that first opened like parallel to me starting university. So that was sort of the predecessor of Dovetail Joints and Pineapple Black, wasn't it? It was the one that
Yeah,
sort of came before.
It was
yeah,
Bobby and
definitely.
Karen, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bobby and Karen. Um, yeah, that was yeah. If it wasn't for that, like starting to volunteer there and ended up working there, like I probably wouldn't have really gotten into the whole fine art scene around Borough. Really, I
Mm.
was still quite young and impressionable at that point.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like I started working there when I was 17, so like I couldn't even like go to the warehouse parties or like work on the
Oh,
bar or anything
warehouse
like
Oh,
that.
right.
parties.
Yeah.
They used to run a really clever scheme there where they didn't have an alcohol license, but obviously you can win alcohol. So instead of paying for the drink, you bought a raffle ticket and everybody won a drink. So so
Great
you
little
pay
loophole.
that. I thought that was great. I thought that was very clever.
Do you think the warehouse party nights and stuff like that and the added bar ruined House of Blah Blah eventually? So I know at the time it was very peak and everyone loved it, but I feel like
Mm.
overall it kind of ruined House of Blah Blah in a way. But
What like the shift in focus to the
to more of it turned into like a business more than like an art space. Which I mean, I know obviously everyone needs to pay a wage, but
yeah.
I don't know. It felt a lot more. I don't know.
You
I,
need the you need the events and the warehouse parties and stuff to fund the exhibitions.
Yeah.
That should be the focus of it really.
was it not being funded by the Arts Council at the time?
No, I think it was funded by Middlesbrough Council. I think they give them. They didn't like fund them, but they give them space. I think they paid for the rent of the space. I think,
Hmm.
and I think they paid Karen a wage. Um,
Right, more than getting Arts Council to pay for a wage and a place.
yeah,
They were sort of granted the was it an old printing hall that used to be used by the Gazette?
The
it was the old post
sorting office,
office.
I think, wasn't it, for the post office?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
it's
It's
all been
not.
renovated now, though, hasn't it? It's all been crazily done out by what's it called? Tall
Oh,
tree. That's
10
what
feet
it is.
tall.
10 feet
Just
tall. Yeah.
base camp now. Yeah, it was weird going back in there. Like I went back in there when I had there was like a book launch for some guy with all this photography from Chernobyl.
All
Yeah,
right.
I feel like what they're doing now with Basecamp is what Kieran should have done, as opposed to the nights out type thing. Like they're turning it into like a social hub for like
Mm.
different things, which I feel is more. I mean, I suppose maybe there's a shift in audiences and stuff like that, and maybe that's just the 2015s was all about raving, and now it's not. But
Yeah, I remember the
yeah, I really like
2015s.
what they're doing with I really like what they're doing with Basecamp now. I think it's really positive.
Do you know when you do your nights with Dovetail Joints in the bongo? Do you have are they ever on nights where the bongo's open and you sort of get the mix between the downstairs atmosphere and the upstairs atmosphere? Do you ever get bongo regulars
Um,
come upstairs to see the work?
nah, I mean it's been a long while since we've done one there now. Like it'll be a couple of years since that.
Right. All right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't do anything there anymore. I think I think it got new ownership, and they've started
The owner
renting that
passed
flat out
away.
or something.
All
Sorry?
right. Yeah.
The
They
owner
got.
passed away.
Oh
I remember
yeah,
reading all the Gazette articles about he was like 91 or something like that. And he passed away, so it probably changed hands then.
Change hands then.
yeah. It was there then or around that time, like not too long after. Um, but we usually did it on like uh, a Thursday night, which I don't think was that big for bongo.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
don't really have any bongo regulars,
I
but
don't think
we
any
did
of it
have the
was big
bar
for
open.
Bongo.
Just
Yeah, it's good, mate. So, do you find your home bases be sort of ephemeral now? You sort of move Dovetail Joints to wherever will host your events more than one
yeah,
location.
Yeah, definitely. That was my intent, sort of coming back to it when I took over like full time. Took over full time. I took over full
Yeah.
uh, directorial control. Um, it was the Disgraceland one was sort of meant to be kind of a warm up lap. So I was going to like go do one there, and then I had one planned at Pineapple Black, and try and get one on auxiliary, and
Right.
then
Okay.
other spaces kind of thing, and just sort of do like a tour of all the different spaces and sort of establish like where here, there, and everywhere kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, it works.
and
It
just
works.
another step in that direction, doing the virtual gallery really.
The virtual
Do you see
reality.
yourself going back to doing, I suppose, offline exhibitions now, or do you feel like your footholds in doing digital exhibitions now?
I still need to see like how much it takes off really. I'm gonna need to start getting some like I've been applying for little bits and bobs of funding, but like I'm gonna need to get some more funding in soon if I'm gonna keep it up really,
Yeah.
because this laptop's like rubbish for rendering.
Right.
So
Yeah.
up this output, I need to keep using this like cloud rendering site. So you upload the file and it renders it for you, and you download it again, but it charges you every time.
Yeah.
So I got the that artist in own residence thing with auxiliary. That was 200 quid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Adobe thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Um,
this? What's this? Sorry, can someone explain it to me?
well, auxiliary doing like a artist residency thing where they'll give you £200 if you were selected, and if you were in a Teesside postcode, they give you 200 quid to learn like one of 3 pieces of open source software.
Okay, that's great, isn't it? That's a cracking idea.
Yeah, it's great. Um, so I've been learning a bit of Blender on the side to do some more like animated stuff, because right now I'm working on Sketch and V-Ray, which is all just completely static.
You're right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that 200 quid, like I think about 40-50 quid of it went on getting the website for a year, because I'm just doing the whole thing through Wix. And then I've probably spent close to 100 quid just on cloud rendering.
Right. Okay.
If you're interested in looking for more funding, Auxiliary just posted about an hour ago, saying that they've just got their funding guaranteed by Arts Council, and I think because they haven't used the money for shows or paying artists or whatever, they're going to pay artists in Teesside. So you should probably look into applying for that, because I'm sure if you said to Liam that you could create a digital gallery for the auxiliary,
yeah.
he'd bite it, like, yeah, because I can imagine him being really interested in something like that.
For people who don't know, the Auxiliary Gallery is another gallery based in Middlesbrough that's run by Liam Slevin, who's a very talented, originally Irish, I believe, artist.
Yeah, he's Irish. He runs it with Anna.
And they've done the main thing they've done is they've worked on the Middlesbrough Art Weekender, which has had probably the biggest effect on the art scene that anything's had to Middlesbrough. It was massive for us, I'd say. So, anyways, just clearing up what it is, because we've just mentioned them quite a lot, but we haven't really said what they are. Well, it's good that they're doing sort of programs like that are encouraging people, because it is hard to come by money as an artist. So if a gallery's paying people to learn skills, that's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I'll have to see if they're willing to throw any more money in the rendering money pit.
Yeah. You might be able to do some work with them. They might want a digital space rendering as well.
Yeah, well, I think I'm in talks with Liam to do some stuff soon, but I don't know if that's like specifically an auxiliary thing or if it might just be some of his own work. But yeah, in terms of actually doing like an auxiliary exhibition, it's sort of, this is just a vessel for food for thought, innit?
Yeah, no, of course.
Money in it.
Do you think that you've sort of not to make light of a bad situation, but obviously COVID's probably been the perfect time for you to have an online exhibition, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was just a case of making the best of a bad situation, really. I was working in that discount books in the Cleveland Center at the time, and they just shut down
All right.
because of all this. So like I was a bit of a loss for stuff to do really now that I'm living at home. And yeah, the online stuff just seemed like the perfect time to do it really.
So
So I
did
was
you?
looking at something to do to keep it mobile if I needed to move away for like a part one architectural assistant job or something.
All right. Yeah. No, of course.
And yeah,
So
that's about
you only started working on the virtual gallery at the start of lockdown, which was only 7 weeks ago, and
yeah.
you've built all that, and mate, that's mad. That's absolutely cracking. Me and Charlie have done 4 episodes of this, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I've had a lot of time on my hands to just piss about doing creative stuff really. So it's
If there's any time to do it, mate, it's now. It's
yeah.
been the perfect opportunity for that. I think it's worked out well for you, and I think it's something I genuinely do. I like it a lot. Like,
No, thank you.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know.
This is like the perfect time for me to be like doing this really because as of Sunday, um, that was oh well, no, it was yesterday, wasn't it? As
Yeah,
of the thing that I dropped yesterday, Jack Orton's architectural piece, that sort of closed off the first chapter. Um, so I'll have like a video, like a fly through animation getting released on Sunday.
yeah.
Um, oh, Charlie, you're in that crit tomorrow, aren't you?
Oh, with
Like Ben
Charlie
Sargent.
and Ben. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, you'll see the video then because I'm gonna want some feedback
Oh,
on
cool.
that before I release it. Um,
What are these crits that you're doing? What's the situation there? Charlie's told me a little bit about it.
You weren't invited, Tom.
I know I wasn't invited. I just want people trying to get you to talk about things.
it's Ben. Talk about him on the podcast.
Yeah, Ben Sargent. Doesn't he want to
It's,
come on, or is that?
I haven't asked him. I know Charlie wants to come on next week. Greg said he'll come on eventually. But yeah, it's Ben Sargent. I don't think you've ever met Ben.
I
He
haven't.
lives in Essex, I'm gonna say. Lives down south somewhere. He went to Leeds Uni and he became like best friends with Charlie Howard.
Yeah.
And they're doing like online crits. I'm guessing it was because students are upset that they're missing out on the opportunity to talk about. Well, I mean, I suppose just generally anyone that missing the opportunity to talk amongst different artists about work they're creating. So they've set upon themselves to create like a digital classroom in a sense where people will crit other people's work.
Right. Yeah.
online.
Oh, that's great. It's great. A lot of people are like, obviously, I'm one of them. Have been a lot being very lazy within this pandemic time. So it's nice to see people keep themselves motivated and continue to do work.
Mm.
It also
Well, I
shows.
think Charlie especially. I think Charlie's made a whole album of his Money Bianco.
Yeah,
So,
I'm excited. I'm excited to ask him next week if he wants to be interviewed as Charlie Howard or Manny Bianco.
you do a little acoustic set for the podcast.
Yeah, I hope you might be able to do as an intro. That'll be alright.
All I know is he's played a lot of Call of Duty as well. So
Have you been playing Call of Duty,
Probably.
Connor? On the
No, I don't have a games console out. Like I've got the laptop with Steam on it, but it can't run shit all really.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So-
I haven't been playing as much as Charlie. Charlie's been on it loads. I went on the leaderboards the other day, mate, and you're shocking you.
Really?
Yeah, you no
I don't
the amount
have
of
it.
time you spent. Yeah.
But what it is it's not even to do with playing Call of Duty because I don't even like the game that much anyway. It's just it's socializing. I miss being able to go to a cafe and sitting there and talking shit for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then being able to go home. I the only way I can do that now is by going on Call of Duty
I agree.
and then speaking to people.
You're absolutely right. This is why this podcast is good because we get people like you on, where I've met you a lot before at sort of art galleries, but I've never really talked to you in a full conversation like we have here. So this is the perfect chance to get to actually talk to someone fully, and it's been great, mate. It's been a good conversation. I've enjoyed having
Yeah,
you on the
it's
show.
been good fun. I mean, I've completely lost track of time. Like, how long have we been doing this?
About 34 minutes, I think. Or something like that.
Cute.
Cute, yeah. Me and Charlie did one the other day. We ended up talking for 55 minutes straight.
But
I was listening to that last week when you dropped it.
Yeah.
The
We
net
chatted
art and
absolute
all that kind of
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, we talked absolute rubbish.
It quickly devolved into like RuneScape and
Which is what I'm showing. That's what
I
I'm
listen
showing
to like.
tomorrow. I'm showing different pieces I made about RuneScape. I decided to make some work about it.
About RuneScape, how's that came along?
What we were talking about work. I want to make work. I'm doing more of a written piece about the work than anything else. Though I'm writing about how economies are made in like online video games, how it like compares to our form of capitalism.
Right. Okay,
So I was trying to make work about it. So I've got lots of screenshots of people begging in RuneScape. So
that's
I think
good.
it compares well.
I think it does, mate. I think you're onto something there, aren't you?
Yeah.
The RuneScape class divide.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you were talking about your latest your sculptures, Connor. What do you make your physical work about? Usually, when it comes to creating.
I mean, I'm still very much figuring that out myself, really.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult to contextualize words as well into like a sentence that makes sense when you're talking about the art you're making.
In terms of that piece that I did for the Pick and Mix show, that was basically just sort of repurposing some stuff that I'd done at uni. So there was some sight readings that I'd made these material experiments from, and then turned that into like an actual building.
Yeah.
But then, like, sort of after I'd graduated and after the dust had settled, I was kind of thinking there's still potential in that is being wasted by turning it into a building. So it was just so I had like the photographs of the site up, and then this sort of sculpture that formed that same sort of material language. So it's still a case of repurposing these like architectural site analysis, site readings kind of stuff, but just with a different outcome. You've got like a sculpture instead of a building kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
And it all feeds back into the virtual stuff in the end as well.
Yeah, it does. That's good. I need to start making work again. I haven't made work in absolutely ages. But
I do miss making like physical stuff. Like,
I bet.
I'm just sat in front of this laptop like every day.
Are you good at like actually building stuff? Because that's not a skill I have in my locker. I can't. I'm not. I can't create anything.
What skills do you have in your locker?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, I'm terrible at it. I've played 104 games and I haven't won.
You not actually won?
No, I haven't won, mate. It's absolutely shocking. It's been great having you on, Connor. I think we can call it a day there. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Well, next time there's a show, we'll definitely come. When it opens back up again, hopefully you will have a next exhibition. In tangible space. And me and
it'll
Charlie,
be nice someday get that sort of bring all the virtual gallery stuff into a real space and have a bit of a retrospective on that. I think that'd be good fun.
That will be good.
We'll have you back on as well.
Yeah, we will do. Hopefully we'll be able to record one in person after this, when it's all over.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
And we can have a couple of beers and
yeah,
and do another episodes, mate. So thank you very much, and see you later.